Luke's bracket.
All right, welcome to another edition of Sports Talk. My dad, Norm LaMadeline, to my right, your left, and no Marty Mad Dog Murphy today. He's under the weather with a little laryngitis. He says that's okay. Stay away if you are. That's
Don't feel well, yeah.
Yeah. We're
Well,
still
yeah. We don't want to get sick.
We don't want the sickness here. No, not at all. Anyways, welcome to Sports Talk. We are Brass City Television, and as always, thanks to Big Al Coles and Mike Albini behind the scenes, taking care of us and answering the phones and making us look good, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to talk to us, Jesus, I'll get this out. It's 203-753-7593 is the number here. We got a lot of good UConn to talk about, both the men and the women playing in their Big East tournament, right, and leading on to bigger and better things, hopefully. Yeah. Maybe some spring training baseball if we get to it. There's a whole bunch of NFL signings that the free agency market has started, so that's coming up, and people swapping draft picks, and we'll get to it if we get to it. If we don't, we have plenty of time to talk football.
Well, Josh Allen, I guess, is going to sign today. I don't know how much that one was either. I just heard Josh Allen. We don't know if he's going to sign or not.
Yeah,
so we're going to see.
Yeah. Apparently, if the Bills were smart, they would just pay him now. He's going to be around for a long time. Unfortunately, he still hasn't won the big one for them. But I think Josh Allen is one of the better players in the NFL. Let's face it, probably one of the best quarterbacks. I think the Bills better take care of him. He's not going anywhere.
No.
Let's face it.
Well, they need him, yeah.
Yeah,
you can't replace him at this point.
You're not going to replace a guy like Josh Allen. And there's only two quarterbacks coming out in the that's what they're saying. There's only two quarterbacks, really good quarterbacks coming out in the NFL draft. Everybody else is just kind of changing teams. There's a bunch of that already. Like our Raiders signed traded for Geno Smith, who's just awful to me. That's another bad move. They might as well have hung with Gardner Minshew. I don't know. He hasn't won anything.
Well,
he hasn't won anything, and he's going to come and take the Raiders to the Super Bowl. I don't think so.
I hope our teams are better, the lower five, and when we did the rankings last year. Because I was, way down the bottom was the Patriots, the Giants, the Raiders. It was just horrible. The Jets. I don't want to see that. I want to be able to cheer our teams down a little bit. Even Tampa. I like Tampa, but.
Well, at least they make the playoffs. They win that division every year.
That was my last gasp. Yeah. All our teams. That was the last one.
Right. Well, the Jets made a big signing today. They let Aaron Rodgers go, which was a great move, right?
Yeah.
And they signed Justin Fields, who's supposedly an up-and-coming, big quarterback. He's already been on the Bears and the Steelers now, so. Who knows? But they did the right thing giving up on Aaron Rodgers. Let's face it. Now they're talking that Aaron Rodgers might go to Pittsburgh. So if I were Aaron Rodgers, I would just end it now.
Go home.
Know what I mean? Right? Just go home.
How much money you need?
Right. I don't know that. It's not about money with this.
You probably got mad you didn't get Jeopardy Gibb.
Right. The bottom line is they can't possibly need the money, right?
No.
At this point in their careers, I don't understand that. Anyways, we'll get to all that malarkey later, if we need to. So the UConn women playing for the championship tonight.
They played fantastic. I'll tell you, they like I thought. They're just running right through the Big East.
Yeah.
And they're playing number 2 seed Creighton.
Okay.
So there's only two Big East teams that are probably making the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
And Creighton and UConn. And I don't know. They just beat Creighton so badly that, just to me, I think this is UConn women's season. I think they're going to go all the way. They have the power.
Okay.
Everybody's hitting. Everybody's scoring. Everybody's playing defense.
Right.
And that's the thing they really were missing last year when we played Iowa State. The defense fell apart at the end. So when they start playing the Marylands and the Notre Dames and the South Carolinas again, they need to have good leads.
Well, like you were saying, somehow they still are number 3 in the nation, right, in the women's polls.
Yeah, number 3, yeah.
But they're saying that they're going to be a 2 seed somewhere.
Yeah, going to be a 2 seed, yeah.
In the
behind Texas.
Yeah.
So, they got to go through that bracket, get through Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a number 1 seed, at least you got your,
Right.
you got it all in front of you.
Well, and they always play, somewhere in the Northeast, right?
Yeah,
They always
yeah.
do. And there's no question about it. They get at least like a home game or two, or pretty damn close every time. So if they end up sending them out, out west or something like that. I mean, what's the projected bracket? Does it say?
Well, they're going to be playing the first game supposedly. I'm sure they're going to be in Mohegan Suns.
Right.
That's
right.
usually that's a standard.
Yeah. Well, then they get a home game. Like tonight, it's going to be a home game, right? Let's face it. They're playing, like you said, Creighton for the Big East Championship.
The whole tournament is a home.
Yeah. And that's the thing is the Mohegan Sun jumped all over that, and that was a good call by them because the UConn, women fans will travel to Mohegan Sun for that. I mean, there should be a very good crowd for them tonight, and you know what? And they should whip them. Let's face it, they just should. I mean, the last time I looked, they had five scorers, right? They had Fudd and they had Beckers. And do you have the?
Well, this is the Villanova game. And
Yeah.
He had Strong had 20 points. Elfie had 7. Beckers had 23. Chan had 8. Fudd had 14. Brady had 3. And on. Everybody scored.
Yeah.
So
That's the thing is they dish the ball around. They do. I don't watch a lot of the games. I have to be honest with you.
The assists are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then they had 8 for 20, 20-point goals. 8 for 20. So they're hitting there as well.
3-pointers?
Everybody's hitting them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
3
Buckers
pointers,
hit 2,
yeah.
Fudd hit 2, Brady hit 1, Duchesne hit 1. So they're hitting the trees. That's the other thing.
Okay.
They're hitting all the free throws, 14 for 19. Field goal percentage, 51.7.
Wow. Okay. Good. Good.
So
How about free throws? Does it say? I mean,
Well, free throws 14 for 19. They're usually better than that. They usually, they usually hit them all.
Okay.
And then they have the rebounds. They had 8 turnovers. That's kind of high for them.
Yeah, that is for the UConn women.
But
no
still,
doubt about it.
it's Villanova. Villanova was a pretty good team, and Villanova played with them for a while.
Okay.
It wasn't until the third quarter until they really broke it open.
Right. Okay. I did not watch the game. So the women have 30 wins now or 29?
30. There's 33. Yeah.
They're amazing.
33. That's amazing.
Gino, another 30-win season as well.
Yeah.
And you know what? Listen, you have to give credit to Gino, like him or not. And I love Gino. I think he's just great. He's great for the game. He's a great coach. He's a motivator, obviously, right? And he's tough on the girls, but they perform.
They do, yeah.
And let's face it. The bottom line is they may see South Carolina again, right, for the championship. Yeah. Well, it depends where the brackets lie.
I would think so, yeah.
The brackets, it may not be the national championship game, but they already whipped up on South Carolina. And what were their losses again? I remember we were talking Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Tennessee, and USC, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, it was 3 decent teams, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're all top-rated teams. Yeah,
they're not like the men who lose games that they have no business losing. The Seton Hall, which fortunately they revenged that game this week.
Yeah, they got revenge on that one.
Yeah. So all right, so the UConn women basically. I don't have a whole lot more. What else do you have? Do you have the women's brackets or anything? I mean.
Yeah, the brackets. They're supposed to be. If they go in the bracket, they're going to be in a Texas bracket. They're going to start off. Let's see. Oh, it's the West.
Oh, that's the men right there?
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're going to start off in the East. They're going to start off at the Mohegan Sun.
Okay.
And that's going to be their bracket. And the number 1 seed in that bracket is Texas.
Okay.
So at least I think they should be able to get out of that bracket.
All right. Good. Now, are there any other women's teams from Connecticut that can slide in? Doesn't
I think we have
Isn't St. Joe's?
Quinnipiac 16.
Okay, Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, these are the men's here.
Okay. All right. We'll have it all next week anyways, Dad. I just was curious if you had a bracket. Selection shows obviously are next Sunday for the men, and I think the women are usually Monday, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So next week we should have at least the men's bracket all ready to roll where UConn's going. If there's any other Connecticut teams in, like hopefully there will be.
Oh, yeah, Yale's definitely.
Yale's
in there,
definitely
yeah.
in. Okay, yeah, Yale, because they won the Ivy League, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so hopefully the women will take care of business tonight, and then they'll have to wait a week and see where they're going.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a damn shame though that they don't get a number 1 seed somewhere.
Well, if they win the Big East, which they should, and the other teams don't win their conferences, there's no reason why why they can't get it.
I don't get it, Dad. I don't know. It's
I
just
don't get it either. They beat South Carolina, and South Carolina's number 1 this week.
yeah, it's amazing.
Just
Yeah, and 3 losses, a 30-3 season. I mean, it's still very. Again, it's got to be the disrespect for, especially in the women's game, that there's no competition in the Big East, right? They rolled through 16-0 again this year.
Yep.
They just don't have any competition in the Big East, unfortunately. Whereas you look at the men's, there's a lot of competition there. Now the UConn men should have won a few more games than they did in the conference, but there's at least there's definitely 4 or 5 good teams on the men's side, so we could switch over there if you want to.
Well, the problem with men is they lost those 3 games early on, and that really just goes like an albatross.
Yeah, it really
The whole
was.
season.
Yeah.
It actually knocked them out of the top 10.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they were out of top 10 for a long time. They were winning games. They had like an 11-game winning streak, but it wasn't enough to, maybe they got to number 9 or number 11 or something like that.
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
were never the championship team that they are. They are. They're national champions until they lose.
Right, and that's my thing is that unfortunately, because of those 3 losses and then 9 losses total, to me they didn't get the respect that maybe they deserve. But at the same time, Dad, if you're looking at them as a powerhouse, they're just not there yet. But they've won 5 in a row now, or 4 in a row to end the season.
Yeah, they got 4 in a row, and they're 6 out of the last 8.
Okay.
And big wins too. There's a Marquette in there,
Yes.
and there's they're doing very well.
They've
I think they're-
steamrolled Seton
I think they're
Hall.
steamrolling now. I think
Yeah.
they're at the point where they don't lose very much in March and April.
Right.
So
So they're going to be a number 3 seed, right? So they play Thursday against the winner of who was it? I saw it too. Did you
it's either Villanova or let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Okay, so
the Big East tournament starts
yeah.
Thursday or
Okay.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, let's see. Providence versus Butler.
Okay.
At 4 o'clock. Georgetown versus DePaul at 6:30.
Okay.
Villanova versus Seton Hall. So that's what UConn's going to get, either Villanova or Seton Hall.
Okay. And they do have 1 loss to Villanova this year, right? And
No,
okay.
they have lost to Villanova and lost to Seton Hall.
Right.
So they bench Seton Hall. So maybe you're going to bench Villanova now.
Bottom line
they have
is-
to bench St. John's too.
Yeah,
losses.
right. So they'll be the number 3 seed. They're playing. We looked at it. It was Thursday at like 9:30 at night, right?
Yep,
So they're going to
Thursday
play
at
the
9:30.
winner of Seton Hall and Villanova, and they've lost to both of those teams. So So hopefully the 3rd time will be a charm.
Yep.
I guess if we want either, we probably want Seton Hall because they just whipped them up.
Yeah.
And you know what? Then what they would move on, and if they move on the whole way, they can play St.
think they
John's
would.
for the championship, right? It would be St. John's if St. John goes all the way.
Well, let me see. I did have the brackets. I wish it
yeah,
were
yeah,
published.
no, that's okay.
But what it says
Yeah.
here is this quarterfinals. St. John's is going to have Providence Butler, so UConn should get St. John's. Well, no, they won't get St. John's anymore because if they're a 4 seed, they will get St. John's.
Right.
So
Right, if they
they're
were a
probably going
4
to
seed,
get
right.
Creighton.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say Creighton's next.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they don't need what 1, 2, 3 wins to be Big East champs.
Yep,
Huh?
3 wins there. Yeah,
Yep,
you
yep.
need 3 wins there. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? They did well at the end of the season, right? They ended up 14-6, and the third seed behind St. John's and Creighton, right?
Yep.
Because I know we were talking about that on the way down. Creighton and UConn had identical records, but unfortunately Creighton had a better record in the Big East, right? So that's what
Yeah,
it
they're a
was.
better record altogether.
Yeah. So,
In the Big East, yeah.
yeah. So, okay, well, you got your power rankings right there, right?
Well, this is what ESPN does. And, it's not just going by coaches and
Okay.
you get the coaches' polls, which, doesn't tell the whole story. Coaches'
Right.
polls, I guess they what they feel, and they tend to vote for their own conferences, apparently. So
Right,
it's like,
right.
But the power rankings, power index, rates them on everything: your home schedule, away wins,
Okay.
the scores, the differentials
Yeah.
in the
Okay,
score,
okay, differentials,
the
right.
bracket, their defense. How do you rank defensively? How do you rank offensively? And the power rankings goes pretty much along the coach's poll. But the thing is that when you start getting down to the 15, 16, 17, you're going to see more of the other teams that and be very contestable, the contested brackets, like, the Big East is really contested.
Right.
The
right,
Big East is
right,
difficult because
Yeah.
you don't win it. You win all your home games, and you don't win away. It's difficult. All
Right.
these teams
And
have
we saw that this year for sure with
Yeah.
with UConn.
So in that case, then they have St. John's at number 16. Is very well at home, very well.
Okay.
Close. And then second, believe it or not, is UConn.
Okay.
So the UConn is number 19.
Overall,
No,
in the country.
number 17 in the power rankings.
Right.
And then they have Marquette is 19, Creighton is 26, and Xavier's 39.
Wow.
So if
okay.
you go by the power rankings, they should all make the they should all be in the tournament.
Right. That's what I was saying. Is we've talked about this before. Is that UConn? They're projecting as an 8 or 9 seed right now in the NCAA tournament. And if they win, I think they really do need to win. Well, they need to win at least 2, right, to get to the championship game. I think they need to win it all in order to get a good seed at this point. I really do.
Well, if they beat St. John's, either way, if they do face St. John and they beat them,
Right.
that'll be a big boost.
Yeah, and the Big East champion.
Yeah.
Which they just need. I just think they need something. They need some kind of a bragging right, or they just need something more this year.
Yeah.
So basically what they're saying is they're saying basically Creighton, St. John's, and UConn should definitely be in,
Yeah.
with Xavier being a bubble team right now.
Well, this what that I saw today, and Xavier, they're going to give Xavier 11.
Oh, okay.
So they think they're in because they're really hot.
Okay.
They're doing well, and they're probably going to do well in the Big East tournament as well.
Okay. All right.
But then you got St. John's at 3, I got Marquette as a 7, UConn is an 8, Creighton is a 9.
Okay. Well, all right. So
And
they're
then we also
talking.
have Yale and Quinnipiac too. So
Okay,
for the
good.
tournament.
Yeah. Well, Yale's has been a perennial NCAA team recently, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they've played very well in basketball, and it's good to see it.
Yeah,
You
they were
know,
13-1 in the Ivy League
Good.
last time I saw.
good. Yeah, they did. They did have one
Starting
loss.
the tournament
right?
out, yeah. They
had
lost to
one.
Harvard 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be very interesting, and March Madness continues, which is fantastic. I love this time of year. I don't have the thing, but I believe the NCAA tournament starts so it'll be a week from next weekend is what, the 15, 16, 14, 15, 16, so it'll be 21, 22, 23, something like that, 24, right? So I love it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the week off. And they'll obviously start with playing games. We always talk about the 64, but it's actually 68. Right?
68, yeah.
68 as
this year.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that eventually they're going to add teams to that, which is crazy. But I always kind of like it. It gives you Tuesday and Wednesday to look at it, to watch a couple of games too, and then maybe you get a nice upset there, or you get somebody that probably shouldn't have been in that is in now. Yeah. And there'll always be somebody crying that they were a bubble team and they should have been in. Right?
Yeah.
We'll get all that next Sunday. But it's just great. It's a great time of year, and it's just even if you're not a basketball fan, filling out a bracket just so that you have some rooting interest is very cool. I've done that for, God, I can't even tell you, 20 years now at least. And thanks to UConn basketball, I am a fan. But
Well, during the Seton Hall game, they kept talking about Seton Hall winning the NIT last year.
Right.
And they really wanted to get, a bubble team, and they cited like 4 or 5 different teams where they had the better record.
Okay.
They did have a win over UConn too.
Right. Okay.
And so, they thought that,
Yeah.
we should have gotten a tournament.
Right.
So they played this NIT tournament that went on and on
Yeah.
and on.
Yeah.
And this year, they lost their best players, so
Right.
they
They
lost
lost
everything.
them early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy too because I know that the NIT is a big deal for some schools, right? I mean, that's how it all started for UConn way back when, right? Didn't they
Yeah.
win an NIT tournament? But to me, these days that means you're the number 69 team in the country, yeah, right? I mean, really, because you weren't good enough to make the NCAA. And it used to be that, hey, we're the 65th best team. Now you're even 3-4 teams deeper, and it's now you're the number 69 team in the country.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? For struggling programs, it is some bragging rights, right? It's like UConn winning the Wasabi Bowl this year in football.
It's all right.
Right?
Hey, it's good. It's good press. It's good for the school itself.
Right.
When I was when I was at UConn, it was great. I loved being at UConn.
Yeah.
We did well in the Yankee Conference. I always had a good team, and
Yeah.
we had some good Waterbury kids that
You had
knew
local kids, right? You didn't
Yeah,
have
local
kids from all
kids,
over
yeah,
the
a lot of
world.
local
and, yeah,
kids, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a
Local,
good thing. I'm glad we got 68 teams.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we got 68 really good teams.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You know what? Listen, people, you can argue with me all you want. There's not 68 good teams in women's basketball, unfortunately, right?
Well, they're getting there.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
top
they're certainly
25,
getting there,
yeah.
right? They're certainly getting there.
The whole
but-
top 25 had at least 22 wins.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
looking at the
Good.
bracket. 22 wins, man.
Oh,
That's
good.
number 25.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
glad to see it because I'll tell you what, UConn women definitely have some competition now. Back in the day, 20 years ago, let's say, it was just Tennessee, right? It really was Tennessee, maybe a Notre Dame or whatever, but
Well, USC, they had two.
yeah.
A couple out west.
Good. Yeah. It's good to see. It really is.
Oh,
I
yes.
I don't have anything else for basketball, Dad. You got anything else? If you do, I mean,
that was pretty
we,
much
we certainly can continue college basketball because
I did one thing over here that was talking about who's doing what lately, and I was just saying that UConn was. If I can find this note. Who's contributing?
for the
Michigan, yeah.
UConn men.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. They won 6 of the last 8, and these are the contributors, right? And the points, rebounds, and assists for each game.
Okay.
And going back to February 1st, that big win at Marquette.
Yes.
They won
Yeah, that was-
77-69.
that was a nice win for
Yeah,
sure.
Ball had 25 points in that game, and 11 rebounds, and Diarra had 7 assists. And you go through this whole list over here. Next one, they have a loss at St. John's, but McNeely scored 18 points, Reed 15 points, Ball 3 points. Again, they're passing the ball around.
That was the game, right? That was in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
And that was the game that they played horrible, right? They had 20-something turnovers.
They had a big lead.
Yes, they had They had a big lead early, and that was actually the game where, as bad as they played, they were still in it till the end. And I think they ended up losing like 69-62 or something
It was
like that.
68
Right?
to 62.
Yeah, yeah.
Good memory.
It's too bad. They still had a good shot at winning that
Well,
game.
68 to 66, I guess, and then they played the foul game.
Oh, gotcha.
So
okay.
it was closer. It was even closer than that, closer than it looked.
Okay.
And then you had a Seton Hall game over here after that, another loss. But Caravan scored 20 points, and McNeely had 20 rebounds. Then you had Villanova, a winner. Well, actually, the only 3 losses I'm talking about was 2 St. John's
Yeah.
and the Seton Hall.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the only 3 losses.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everybody did it. Yeah, Reed Reed scored 20 points, 24 points.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Caravan,
him
21.
back.
Ball, 17.
Yeah.
So they're all here. They have what they need.
They definitely do that. I would agree with that. They just need to show up every night.
Yeah.
And some nights they just don't show up. Let's face it. Caravan needs to, I'd love to see the guy go to the NBA, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But he needs to have a big East tournament and whatever they get. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 games left. If they go all the way, right, it's like 7 games. He better have 7 good games because, I mean, if he wants to get drafted, right? If not, he's gonna end up in a D league or whatever they have now. They got the minor leagues, they got all that stuff. It's too bad because I like Caravan a lot.
Well, he's got another year of eligibility if he wants it, and I hope he takes it.
Okay. All right. Well, and then McNeely's our big guy for hopefully at least a couple more seasons.
Well, he's the one that's got to step up though, really, because he has 20 here, and then next game he has 5.
Yeah.
The next game he has 8.
Yeah.
He had that one 38-point game, and that was it. That one game against.
Yes, I
That
remember.
was Creighton. That was
I
Creighton.
remember the game. He
That was Creighton.
on fire.
That was a big win.
Yeah, that was a nice win too. Right,
Yeah.
right. So they had what, Marquette twice they beat, Creighton they split with, right, and St. John's. St. John's is 2 losses, or they split with St. John's.
2 losses to St. John's. Yeah.
Yeah, they really need to. They really need to see St. John's again, and I hope for the Big East championship. So that'll be what, Sunday, if they get that far.
Well, these are the 2 best teams that they play at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
They have the best records, both of them.
Yeah.
And UConn may even have a better record at MSG.
Wow. It's
So
too bad.
that'll be interesting. Very interesting.
It's too bad that they lost that home game to St. John's, because I remember that game. Now that you talk about it, they were up like 14 early, and I remember turning it on saying, "There's no way," and sure enough, there was no way. And then they just kept turning the ball over and just playing horrible, and they still were in that game.
Yep.
It's amazing. I don't know what it is about Patino, but he just bothers me.
He's too good. He's too good a coach.
Really
I remember how I used to show him in his younger days. He's on fire.
Oh yeah.
He's like Calhoun. He's on
yeah.
stage. He's yelling out, and he's a Big East coach. He's a Calhoun type of coach.
Oh yeah, and he's been around for a long time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he even went to the NBA for a little while, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't he go to like the Celtics or something? I forget.
I think what team it was, right?
Yeah.
But he was. Oh,
He's
yeah.
been around so long. And why these guys, I mean, I'm sure it's a money thing, right? And thank God that Hurley didn't go. But, these guys, they seem like they haven't made in college. Why would they jump to the NBA? And I was so glad, obviously, when Hurley was, courted by the Lakers. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, boy, that guy, he stayed around,
Well, he's gonna show us what he's worth here in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right. Let's hope
If
so.
they pull out they pull a 3-peat, it's gonna be on him. It's gonna be the
Right.
he knows how to do it.
Well, as long as he doesn't, get foolish on the sideline and start getting teased and all that stuff.
Well, I think he learned his lesson early on in the year.
Well, let's hope.
You know.
Can you imagine? We were talking about this in November, the 3 losses.
Yeah, those are horrible.
In Maui.
Yeah.
And it is literally, it's been a problem the whole year.
Yeah.
It really has been.
Yeah, imagine if they won all 3 or 1 or 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I hate to say it, Dad, but we're done.
Wow.
We're getting to 30 seconds. So, Dad, thanks as always. Good job. Let's hope we see some good UConn basketball over the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Into April. And thanks for watching. As always, we'll be here next week for St. Patrick's Day. So, enjoy your sports. And I'm Matt LaMadeline, Norm LaMadeline, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us.